welcome back to Wingscast. I'm Josh.
I'm Chris. New season, 21-22 for the Red Wings. And it's gonna be an interesting one. I think it's gonna be a fun season to watch. The
hmm
preseason's been entertaining. The offseason was entertaining, and I think the Wings have potentially. We have a star player in the making here.
hmm
We've kind of watched him just really quickly progress. Kind of get his bearings, and I think Raymond's gonna make the team. I think originally he was penciled in for Grand Rapids, but the Vrana injury, with that, he's going to get in and he's going to stick. He's not going back down.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. That goal last night was incredible. Um, Not the fact that it was just a snipe, but the fact that it came from him and he did it so confidently. And he seems to be adjusting with the speed well, especially with the vision he has. The goal that he had with Fabry and Larkin, big vision move right there. That was a veteran play made by a rookie. So, do you think he competes for the Calder this year?
I think he can. I think if he stays healthy, I think if Larkin stays healthy, I think if they put them together most of the year to feed off of each other and get going, I think he has a good shot at the Calder. Um, I don't think Sider has as much of a shot at the Calder because a lot of it's, they look at the counting stats, they look at the goals, they look at the assists. It's tough for D
hmm
to win it. But I really think Raymond, especially if he gets big power play time, which is something he's very good at, he can do it. I think it's a possibility.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how well this power play operates. I mean, I think we're off to a good spot with the three power play goals we had last night. So I do think that we're going in the right direction there. That was I think a home run hire for the power play guy.
It was a completely different look on the power play.
Yeah.
The drop pass wasn't there, which I, di-
hmm
I didn't know you could run a power play without a drop pass. I thought that was like a rule or something.
Well,
I had to look at.
he was running that old school power play. Maybe that left wing lock comes back. We'll never know. I guess we'll never know. But yeah, I don't like the drop pass either. I think you rely too heavily on you know too many major things going right just in that one part of the play. So what if you
Yeah, just
miss
to
a
make the
pass?
entry. It was. I mean,
The entry was good last night, so we're gonna see who is gonna be the leader on that power play. Obviously Larkin, but on the back end too. I know you mentioned Letty had some issues last night, so that kind of dilutes things a little bit.
well, I think
So
Letty's good
we'll
on the
see.
power play, and he'll get one of the units. I think Sider will get the other unit. Hronik's, going to be in there too. I don't know if they'll have two defensemen out there or not in the regular season, but
Right.
the movement on the power play was fantastic. The willingness, they didn't like leave guys on the circle and just standing there. Zadina and Hronik weren't telegraphing the one timers. They got away from all that, which is what was basically the staple of, the power play the last couple of years. And it looked fantastic. It was fun to watch. Fleury made some humongous saves against us on the power play. But we still got the goals, and some of them, I mean, were just beautiful goals. Like you said, the Raymond goal was just fantastic. Um,
Yeah, that was against a really good goalie. So,
right.
and like I said, confidently in doing that, and then just how he carries himself in the ice. It's good. I know this is all Raymond Love Fest, but I don't think we expected him to do this or this early on.
You
I
know,
think one more year of
I
GR,
thought so.
right?
Kind of thought so too. I think they did have him penciled in the GR to start. And I kind of got, like I said, the Veron injuries opens the top six spot, and I think he's the natural, heir to that spot at this point, especially after watching him progress. But I actually thought he'd be back in Sweden this year. I didn't think he would. I didn't think he. You look at his stats in Sweden, and they're not impressive. And you kind of, as Americans, we don't get to watch a ton of him playing, and he was injured and all these things. But I mean, the stats weren't off the chart. They weren't real impressive. And you hear about his vision, you hear about these things, and you can't really see that in the highlights, right? But I mean, Monday night he was the best player on the ice for either team. He was better than Kane. He was better than Taves. He was better than Larkin. Um, and that's you don't know how those guys are going 100%. They're probably not. These are warm ups for them, really. But it was good to see. It was good to see that he had that in him to be that good.
Yeah, and I mean, especially in that kind of speed environment. I mean, I think those guys. Well, Tapes was just coming back. I think that was his first game back since the injury.
Yeah,
So
I believe it was.
um, he was trying to probably to push it just a little bit to see what his capabilities were, and I do think that was it was a highly competitive game. It was fun to watch. If
Yep.
that's the way it's going to be, then I'm cool with it. I think we're going to be a lot of based on what I've seen. I think we're going to hurt a lot of people's chances getting the playoffs. So we're going to be that team that like maybe Florida comes in with Barkov, the best player in the world, and maybe we beat them every time. So
Yeah.
I think we're going to be one of those teams. Like
Be like a spoiler. That'd be kind
it
of fun
was.
to watch.
It would, and I'm fine with it. I think everybody's expectations are kind of temper or tapered here a little bit because we've been so successful, and then we got so bad, and now we're kind of coming out of the cave a little bit. Granted, Cider and Randy don't get hurt, season-ending injuries, but you know,
We've had bad
I
luck
think
with that.
we have. We have. I mean, Vrana, 4 months. Who would have known? So it's gonna be cool to see. Three more preseason games, and I think those last three we're gonna start seeing what the roster is gonna look like.
Yeah, I think the last two you're definitely gonna see more. The last one, um, I remember. I think if I remember right. Usually it's the second to last. They basically ice the NHL roster. If I remember right, then those guys take a break the final game and they just kind of throw some guys out there and play. Um,
Hmm.
but some of the other spots, I mean, I think if Raymond does make the team, like where a lot of people are assuming after Monday night, I think a lot of people, kind of went over the pencil with a Sharpie and are guaranteeing the guy in, and there's good reason for that, I think. But you kind of got to look down roster, especially at the forwards, and you got to kind of wonder, has Bobby Ryan done enough on his PTO to make this roster? They seem to be into the guy. They're giving him a ton of time to to play. He's not just playing a couple minutes a night. He's getting
Hmm.
top 6 minutes. Do they sign him? And if they do, what does that mean for guys like Smith or Rowney? I mean, are they going to waive those guys? Will they waive a defenseman like maybe Osterley or Lindstrom? I don't know.
I mean, the Australia one seems like they would waive only because I guess the thing with Ryan first off is that I think they told him they're going to give him every opportunity to make the team, which I think is fair because he's had his time. He's had his time. So I do think that's fair. I do think he does squeak in there only because Vrana being out. Now, what is the process on if he makes the team in the personal tryout? Since he is a veteran, can he do two-way contracts or is it strictly one way?
He can sign a 2-way contract.
Okay.
So maybe he would do that. But I think once they sign him, I don't think he's playing in Grand Rapids. I think he's, like I said, I personally think that at this point he's better than Smith. Some people think he's not as fast. I know the skating. I know you really like Givani Smith's, physicality. But I mean, trying to be as objective as I can here, I don't know if Smith has the skill or has exhibited the skill to make the roster, one, or two, worry about a waiver claim. I don't know if he'd be claimed. And I mean, you got to remember, if a guy is claimed on waivers, the team who claims him has to, give him a roster spot for 30 days. So is anyone really making that room for Givani Smith on the roster? I don't know. I don't see it, though. I don't think so.
Well, if they need cheap muscle, I'm sure they will. I do think he is an asset to us. You could take that chance just to kind of see where it goes. But I mean, we're not very big aside from Rasmussen, and he will not fight. And I think he's got a little bit of the Mantha hands in him where it's just class. So I worry about that. I worry about the small guys like Raymond not having enough space because we're going to start zeroing in on these guys. And just want to be sure we don't have a Jake Muzzin incident with Mantha and then Jordy Ben, or was it Jamie or Jordy? I think it was
Jamie,
Jamie, right?
Jamie
Yeah,
Ben.
bastard. But yeah, having a cross check to the back of the neck like that. I mean, we're a lot of bite, no bark from the refs there, so or the league for that matter. But having Smith out there, just to kind of okay, well, you may get away with it on ice here, but we're going to take this. Somebody's going to answer the bell there. So, and I think Smith does that.
Maybe we haven't seen the Red Wings employ kind of that role in a while. Um,
Right.
and I don't know. I don't know if he has this. I mean, yeah, he's got the physicality and he can perform that role, but can he play hockey well enough, you know, to guarantee himself a spot on the fourth line and get Rowney kind of sat? Like, I mean, is that? I don't know. That's gonna be something that's interesting to watch going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Or I think Eiserman's already said that he plans on going with 8 defensemen in the roster, which is why most people concentrate on the forwards. For someone will get waived if both Ryan and Raymond make the team.
Yeah,
So
it's gonna be interesting to see. It really is. I think that's one of those hard decisions you got to make, and he's gonna keep the depth on the D. So I think we can pretty much count on
kind of being
the
forward.
forward. Yeah,
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean that's what he said he's going to do. So he's done everything he said so far. Um, but yeah, so that's like the last big decision in the roster. If Raymond makes it, it's do they give Bobby Ryan a spot on the roster, and how do the dominoes fall after that? That'll be one of the last things really to watch. I think the defensive pairs are pretty much set. They've run DeKaiser Hronik and Cider Letty the entire time. Um, so I think that's your top four. Uh, we haven't seen Stahl or Stetcher, those guys really much. So, but I
Stetcher
think,
scored the greatest Red Wing defenseman ever.
yeah,
So
but
I heard he was wearing number 5. I think we had heard the rumor last year about that. So I think that's in stone now. So it's gonna be good to see finally. The best defenseman ever to play hockey is back on the Red Wings. And
yeah,
no, but I Stetcher did score. I think he did, and good. I do think he's a great defenseman, especially for the type of where he fits on our roster. I think that's what makes him a great add to it. Maybe a good complement to like a third line pairing. Because
I
I
think
mean,
he's a good
our
third
top
line
four is
pairing.
set in stone.
You got Stahl there too, who's probably going to play. Then you've
Yeah,
got Lindstrom and Osterley. It'll be interesting to see how they cycle that bottom four. Hopefully people don't get injured. I'm sure
right.
DeKaiser will go down at some point for some length of time. Um, but we gotta really hope that Sider stays healthy and maybe Letty too. If there's a trade deadline deal, maybe with him, to get an asset back. We spent a second to get him, so we'll see. It'll be interesting. But I think the roster for the most part is how we see it. Um, I've been happy with Suter. I've been happy with Stevens. Rasmussen out with some sort of injury now. Hopefully that's not long term, but they didn't really specify too much on it.
He was having a pretty good preseason, wasn't he? I mean, he had a couple goals, and it seemed like he was kind of getting to the rhythm of things. Had a little bit of PP time, and it's just man, can't catch a break, especially a Vrana. But having Ras like that, I feel bad for the kid. I think he's busted his ass to get to where he is right now. Kind of changed his game multiple times, and taking
Yeah, he's.
over a winger role right now, right?
I think they're gonna play him third line center to start.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be surprised if Stevens beats him out though. Pushes him to the wing or pushes him to fourth line center. Nemesnikov can play center too.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that goes. That'll be something to watch in season, kind of how that bottom six shakes out. If we
I
can
think
stay
tomorrow will be a
healthy.
big tell too with Stevens and whatnot. But yeah, I wouldn't mind having him on the wing. I think he's going to be huge on the power play come down the stretch. He's young
Rasmussen.
enough to where, yeah, he's got the big body, good 10-foot game, and I think he's done. I think he's done enough, to get to that point, and where we just need to like, okay, go, just eat the minutes, get your whatever out, the stupid mistakes, and do what you do best, which is stand in front of the net, get the puck, cycle it up, do whatever you got to do. I mean, he's not going to have a shot. He needs to use his body
They didn't
essentially.
really do that much on the power play though. They didn't have a dedicated net front guy. If you watched it, they kind of cycled through the net front. So it'll be interesting to see if they continue to use Rasmussen on the power play in that role,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
But
Maybe he has a wrist shot that we don't know about.
be nice. Be nice if we had something
Good.
we didn't know about, I guess.
Right.
But
So other than that, I'm just really glad I don't have to see Art Regner too much. Um, I chime in on the board every once in a while because sometimes when I think about it, it's like I need to tell the guys and ladies out that are on there that this is a catastrophe. It is. It's a straight catastrophe. He reminds me of like the old hockey dads. You go into the rink and they're just we have a friend, Begeman. He reminds me of Begeman so much. It's uncanny. So we have a friend that he reminds me of, and I have to laugh every single time. So yeah, no more Art Regner, and hopefully we don't have Daniela Bruce and Carly Johnston running. the broadcast by the end of the year. So
You never know. Um, I don't really have anything else. I'm excited to watch the end of the preseason, see how it goes, and it'd be really interesting to see how the roster does finally shake out.
yeah, I'm first time I've been this excited in a long time. Where I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun.
It's gonna be
You
fun.
know,
Yeah, I'd still temper my expectations in terms of standings, but I think it's gonna be fun.
yeah. I don't think we play spoiler, so
We could play spoiler to some teams. Kick them
that'll
out of the
that'll be fun.
playoffs.
That'll be fun to do, especially Toronto. And I'd love to keep them out of the playoffs. Just
That
to
would
kind of
that
see that
would
whole
be that would
dynamic
be
blown
awesome.
completely up. So yeah, we'll see what happens though.
All right, I don't have anything else. We will be on Wednesdays and Saturdays this year, twice a week.
Yep.
Um, so if you would like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, comment. You can talk to Josh, and that's it. We'll see you guys later.
See ya.